Wow. We're live, ladies and gentlemen. You're once again welcome to the King Games podcast. And today I have with me a very, very special Nigerian brother. Make welcome, Christian, the real deal, Oshodi. How are
Uh,
you, brother?
good, thank you. How are you?
Whoa, I'm good. I'm good. London, England. And of course, you fight out of Vienna, Austria, and of course, by way of Atlanta, the United States of America. What's up? What's happening? You are preparing for your fight. Like, what's the atmosphere in camp like right now?
I'm preparing for my fight on the 8th of March. It'll be my first pro fight, boxing, on the Henry Lewis promotion. And he sent us here to training camp in Atlanta with Senseboy and Martin. And the atmosphere is just nice, like always, early killer instinct, early killers in the gym.
Whoa.
But he really works hard every day, hard work, dedication.
Killers on the team. And of course, your boy Sense Boy was on the podcast earlier this year. I think Sense Boy was the first episode I had this year. Very
Really?
fantastic guy.
Really?
Yeah, very fantastic guy. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to my Niger brother. I have a positive bias for Nigerians. Here's my flag again. Let me bring my flag. I'm always super proud to be Nigerian, positive bias. So anytime it's my Nigerian brothers, I'm always happy, super gassed. I think, was it recently, like, I did get on an Uber ride, I think sometime recently, maybe last week or something. And the guy was Nigerian. And I knew that I was just being extra kind to this guy. And of course, at the end of this trip, I told him, 5 stars for you and an extra tip for you just because you're Nigerian. So it's not like, oh, the guy did anything, special or over and beyond, like just because you're Nigerian, you get an extra tip from me, don't worry. So I love it, when we collaborate, when we support each other as Nigerians. It's really, really fantastic. And of course, that's why, when you reached out, and of course, I was just so happy. I was like, okay, my Nigerian brother, I would do anything, to support my, fellow Nigerian brother. You call yourself the real deal. That
They
is a
called me the real
bold
deal.
statement. Okay, there's a difference, right? You are called the real deal, right? And of course, that in itself is a very bold statement. So what inspired that name, and how do you embody it inside and outside of the ring?
Like, I always go by the mantra, by the lifestyle to be real with myself first. So you can be real with yourself, then you can be real with others. And then in my last fight, no, my second pro fight, the commentator just shouted out, Christian, the real deal, Oshodin. And I was like, yeah, I
Oh
like it.
yeah.
I
Christian,
like
the
it.
real deal, Shody.
And then from there, we just took the name and
Oh
ran
wow.
it.
Wow, wow.
Just
Oh,
happened like that.
it's a nice one. And of course, I like that, your top, the customized, the real deal. So we should be selling this. We should be selling this merch. Do you have more copies of it? I'd like
No,
one of
this
this.
one, the first one actually, but I have a merch with Be Real customers.
With what?
With Be Real
Oh,
customers.
okay, be real, be real. No, no, I
Yeah.
okay.
Right.
Let me be an Oliver Twist now. I want the two of them. I want be real and I want the real deal. So
Uh,
we'll find a way around it.
you can
And
send
of
me
course,
a hot
when I get it, I'm gonna wear it on the podcast.
right.
Yeah, yeah. That's a promise to you. So you proudly represent Nigeria and of course Austria. So
Yeah.
how has this dual identity shaped your boxing style, your career?
Like I've always grown up Nigerian, Nigerian household with my mom. Always eating Nigerian food, everything. When you come home, it's just different.
I was waiting for the food part.
Like if I step out of our house, of our apartment, everything is Austrian, the culture, the way we behave, the way we talk. But every time I come home, everything is Nigerian.
Wow.
Everything is different.
So do you speak any Nigerian language?
I don't speak, but I hear I do. Literally, I do because I was always listening to my mom speaking to my grandma on the
Really?
other
But what part of Edo is that? Is that you have the Benin, they have
Benin,
Asan.
Benin,
Oh, Benin. Okay. My mom is Ishan. So I think they call it
okay.
Asan as well. So I speak the language as well. but they're like intersections between the Benin language and the Eastern language. So, for example, you call child Omo.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. They're like intersections here and there. But we're brothers, and of course, blood is thicker than water. That is why, the Edo blood was just calling us and like, okay, you guys have to connect. You have to connect. But like growing up in Austria, what language do you guys speak in Austria? Is it
speak German in Austria. Just
German? Oh wow.
Germany. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. So like you're very good with your German. Es geht mir gut. Das ist wunderbar. Wow, 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 wow. Interesting
How do you
stuff.
know German?
German. My younger brother did study German.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
so I just peeked, little
okay.
bits here and there. Yeah, at least I can understand the basics in German. Don't ask me complex things, please.
Okay.
Don't don't embarrass me on my own podcast. I can't speak much of German. So how did you start your journey in boxing?
I started late actually. I started with 19. So at 19, I had my first amateur fight in boxing, but I was
19
19. Yeah.
for a Nigerian, that is early. For a Nigerian, bro, that is early. Even AJ, who grew up in the UK, I think he started.
17, I
Uh,
think, correct? Or something like
uh,
that.
like he claims to be a late bloomer. He claims to be a late starter, and I think he probably started at 19 or
Yeah.
21.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah. Something like that.
bro, yeah. So that's quite early for a Nigerian. Let's not lie, because a lot of us don't really discover what we want to do with our lives until we're in our 20s. So for you to have started at 19,
19, yeah.
don't tell a Nigerian audience that was late.
Late.
Only tell people from Austria that that was late. It depends on the context, basically. You growing up in Austria and starting at 19, like what inspired that?
But actually, I was always into sports since when I was
Okay.
young. Like I started calisthenics, doing push-ups
Whoa,
at
I do
7.
that too. Mm.
Started with 7. Then when I was 9 years old, I started with karate.
Oh, wow.
Like I did it for 4 years. Then I started with kickboxing. Then I
Mm.
was playing soccer, and I was always being bullied in school because I was the only black guy.
No
But
way.
I had to stay strong all the time. So I was always in sport, keeping me in shape. So I've been fighting every day, every day.
Wow.
Uh, Then where I was living, there was no boxing club there because I always wanted to go to a boxing club. So that was the reason why I started with karate and the other
Oh,
sports just to keep me doing something. So when I was 18, 19, I had my driver's license. Then I was heading to Graz. Was 1 hour away from where I was living. I was always driving with car to the training. From there, this journey started.
wow. Interesting. So, like, what really made you like a boxer? Because you started with karate. I did karate as well, and it was quite interesting. Karate, taekwondo. Taekwondo is basically kicks, but
Yeah,
karate is quite more interesting because you have the kicks and the punches, and that point style fighting is quite interesting. And I would expect someone like that to probably transition into MMA. I am a nerd of MMA. I love MMA so
right.
much. I've had a lot of MMA guys on the podcast. But how did you get to choose boxing? Is it because of more money or
No, not more money. I needed more action. I liked the action. Karate was cool, but wasn't mine. I didn't want to point fight or do some light kicks. I needed more because
oh
I had a lot of
oh
aggression in me. So
I see.
either
I
pull or
see.
not, that's why I love boxing more.
Oh wow. And of course, boxing, let's not lie, boxing actually has the potential to earn more money than
Yeah,
MMA.
that's true.
As we speak, I don't know what the future holds, but over time, boxing is actually, being the sport that has earned the major bucks. And of course, many athletes have their mentors, but for you, who have actually been your own defining mentors and who are the guys that have had the biggest influences on you from the world of boxing?
Mike Tyson and
Oh,
Roberto Duran.
like I said. Big
Yeah,
influence.
yeah.
Oh.
Person on the ground.
Okay, what when you were growing up,
Yes.
but now,
Okay.
come on,
Yes.
did you want to fight?
No.
Whoa, I
It's
was
not already.
praying.
But if the opportunity comes, why not? But that's not my goal now. My goal is to be world champion.
I was praying for the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight not to happen.
Yeah, me too. Because I didn't
It
want
it
to
was
see a
it
old
was
man.
so embarrassing in my opinion.
I don't. Nobody wants to see a 60-year-old man fight.
But do you think it takes anything away from the legacy that he has built over time?
Nah, nah, I don't really think so. Nah, I don't think so because he really accomplished a lot of things and beat a lot of champions. If you speak about Mike Tyson, everybody has this animal in mind first. You know,
Mm.
these guys that knock people out. If you go to the toilet, the fight is already over.
Hmm.
No,
But it seems like he's just trying to make money off
yeah, not
of
just like,
us. That
yeah, that's what they're doing now.
it's just crazy. But then aside from Mike Tyson, like who were the other guys who actually
Uh,
influenced you?
Roberto Duran, maybe you know him.
Oh, Roberto Duran. Yeah, I do
Yeah,
know Roberto
that
Duran.
was actually Mike Tyson's favorite boxer.
Wow.
Was because
So,
I just like them because they're just down to earth people and they have similar lifestyle like mine. Like grew up without father, lot of drugs involved, you know,
mm,
um only with my mother and a lot of violence. But even though they became rich and everything, they never forget their own people. And
yeah.
they stayed on the character. They're always the same people, just honest and just say everything the way it is. And that's why I just love them. And fucking beasts in the ring. And I
Mm.
love people like that.
Yeah, and I think that actually does speak to your name, the real deal. You have to be authentic. You have to stay
Yeah,
true to yourself. And for me too, like I love to tell people that I'm one of the most authentic people, living on earth right now. And I feel like those of us who are authentic, we are like a dying breed or an endangered species when I think about it. How many people you come across a lot of people on a day-to-day basis, but how many of those people can you confidently identify as being real?
not a
Think
lot.
about it.
Not a
not
lot.
not a lot of people,
Not a lot.
right? So it takes a lot to be yourself regardless of circumstance, right? And regardless of knowing whether you're going to be persecuted for it or whether you're going to be seen differently for it. So it takes a lot of courage to be yourself and also to identify with your origin, with your roots, right? So we are Nigerians, for example. I think it's just in recent time that it started becoming cool in foreign countries to be Nigerian. Everybody is now adopting, the Nigerian culture, identifying with Nigerian food, identifying with Afrobeat, right? But still, in some circles, right, if you say you're Nigerian, you'll be perceived as like maybe those dubious people or something. I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't care what you think about my country. I come from Nigeria. We have a culture of excellence, right? And I will be identified as, a proud Nigerian, regardless. I don't care about whatever stereotype you have of my country, but I identify as a Nigerian. So it's difficult being real in those kind of circumstances. I see certain Nigerians deny Nigeria, whole heart, deny the country, and it's sad. Why would you do that where you come from, right? But I would like for you to give, or would I say, shed some light about your background. You talked about the violence, the drugs, but how were you able to chart a path for yourself, right? To be on a good path. Because a lot of kids who grew up in those kind of circumstances, it doesn't end well for them.
yeah, yeah,
But I'd like for you to shed light on that, not just about, sharing your story as well, but also inspiring, kids who are going through, a similar upbringing right now.
yeah. For me, sometimes I even ask myself, how did I made it? Because everything for me, everything is God. No father. My mom, we had a good relationship, but sometimes it was very, very difficult because she'd be doing things that mother should not do,
Mm.
right? But it's okay with that because she herself has her own problems, her own demons. That's now
Yes.
I understand it more
Yeah,
than
that's the thing. When we grow up, we get to understand a lot that our parents made a lot of sacrifices, bro. It's not easy
yeah.
to be a parent. I don't even have a child right now, and I feel like when my parents were my age, they probably had like 2 kids already. So
They will,
you can,
they will
you
like,
can just imagine.
it's already had you.
I'm telling you. So like I see the sacrifices that, parents make. I was telling one of my friends that you think say my papa don't like designer. I mean, my mama don't like designer clothes, right? They love the good things of life, but they have to sacrifice a lot, to make sure that they pay school fees, they make sure their kids eat, they make sure their kids have the good things of life. But it just makes sense for us to honor our parents, if we
Yeah.
still have them alive. But man, it's not easy. Come on, let's continue your story.
So sometimes she will take her anger on me, like for like I've met my real father only once when I was 17 in Nigeria, in Benin, for some minutes, and from then we never talked again. And when I was a child, like 9 years, 10 years, she'd be doing things to me and she'd be telling me that I am the fault for everything that was happening to her, for everything that my father did to her, that is my fault and everything like that. That's okay. So the anger started from at home because I never felt really safe at home or felt free. Like for me, I like to sing a lot, I like to dance a lot just to have a free spirit, but I could never do that at home because of the relationship that I had. We was having a good relationship, but not that too good like it's supposed to be because 2004 I came to Austria with only my mom, and that means that is the only one person that I should trust. Supposed to be my best friend because we went through a lot together, but it was just a little bit different. Like I was searching for my best friend other way. Other from that, then the school being the only black guy there, not understanding the language, having a different roles, differently, you know.
But did you have siblings? Did you have siblings?
Yeah, from my father's side, that means they're all over the world.
Okay, but your mom had only you for your dad.
Only me, only me.
Oh, I see. So you grew up as an only child.
Yeah, I have two siblings in Canada and three in Nigeria from my father's side. So apart from that, in school, I was always getting bullied. So I was fighting every day, every day, every day. Like I was not even going to school to learn anything. I was just going there to fight. And sometimes it will frustrate me because I would have so much anger in me, and I would, every time I fight, I will come home, I will cry. Like always reflecting on what happened. Why did I do this? Because every time I did it, I did something like got into a fight, just like being another person. Like it was not me. And every time I came home, was hating myself, hating what I was doing, but it wouldn't stop. Because I noticed that when you try to talk to people, like if somebody says something, and then if I want to try to talk to them calmly and explain them, please, I don't like it, what you're doing is not good. They will just pick up more on you.
Then you let your face do the talking.
Yeah, exactly. Used to it.
Whoa, I can relate. I can relate. And that's one of the reasons why people that stammer tend to be on the aggressive side as well. Because when it's difficult to communicate, verbally, you'd likely want to communicate physically. But people don't understand the psychological, reason behind this kind of behavior. Man is a social animal, right? And there's always a method to the madness when it comes to human beings, when it comes to how we relate. So sometimes people have interactions, right? And interactions are born out of actions,
Yeah.
actions and reactions, right? create interactions, right? But the actions, right, are sometimes born out of intentions. Right. So sometimes you realize that you actually perform certain actions that do not align with your intentions. And that is why you get to process it and you have that regret that you always have.
Yeah.
You get it? Because you probably have a kind mind, right?
Yeah.
It's not your intention to have these kind of actions, but when you're not able to process, your thoughts properly, and then you get in on this aggressive behaviors, right? It's not like you like to harm people or hurt people, but these guys will not let you be. So you let this do the talking, and you now feel bad after. I think that actually goes out to show that you in the end, you're not a bad person.
Uh, but they look like I am the bad person.
Mhm.
That was the other program.
But
But
it's
after,
sad that you do not have siblings that, you could collaborate with or, rub minds with. That would have helped.
yeah, but at that time I was alone. I was really alone
Mm-hmm.
because there was
Mm.
not really, it's not having a lot of friends that time. Everything came later with time. But first, like that was in primary school.
Mm.
That's the thing started already. I was already fighting there.
Wow. So,
They
was your mom aware at the time?
no, because I never talked to her about it.
But what was your relationship with her like? Did she try to be close to you?
Before we came to Austria, she was literally my best friend. But after then, I don't know, something changed. Her behavior changed towards me. And even if I talked to her today about the things that she was doing, she said, "I don't remember."
Oh, wow.
That's why.
Yeah, it's really tough, on single moms, in her defense. It's really tough. I think I was telling somebody that some of the most, miserable, set of individuals, in our society are actually single parents. Let's not lie. It's a really, really difficult job. It's a job that is meant for two people, two
Yeah.
persons, and it's now being done by one person. Think about it.
uh,
They are overwhelmed, right? It's overwhelming. I just can't think about it. It's
yeah.
overwhelming. A two-person
First,
job, like one person's not doing it. It's even difficult already leading your own self. And now have to lead, yourself and an offspring. We need to give them more credit than they yeah, we need to give them more credit than they actually get. So
it's,
now getting into your teenagehood, right? So primary school, I don't know what the educational system is like in Austria. Do you guys have like, is it high school or secondary
yeah,
school? What do you call it?
secondary school, secondary school,
So were
secondary,
you able
like,
to make more friends at the time? Like what happened around
yeah,
the secondary school?
um, I was able to make more friends, but the friends there were not real.
Mm.
It was like, most of them were Austrians because I was the only black guy, so they
Mhm.
could never understand from the environment I originally came from. Like if they come to my house or me, I go to their house. Every time I go to their house, it's like everybody has a big house. Everyone has
Mm.
his own room, kitchen,
Mhm.
and everything. And if they come
Mhm.
to my house, just two rooms.
Mm.
And they like, hey, this is where you live. I don't want to come here again. And so like
Mm.
laughing at me and our circumstances. And so that's why I never had really, really good friends. I had good friends when I started business school. I went to business
Mm.
school and it was another city, was a little bit larger city. So I had more people that understand where I'm coming from, because
Mm.
they're actually the same. So,
Were
and
there international students there?
international, yeah,
Oh wow. Yeah.
international. That was
So
different. And the funny thing is, when I started business school, first I was ready to fight everybody.
Uh,
Like, yeah,
like you need to always be on the edge. Like,
yeah,
okay, I'm always battle
like
ready.
I'm new here, everybody's new. I'm just waiting for the first person to say,
In Nigerian pidgin, say if you talk, you collect. Oh, man, you only started on business. That
yeah,
is why you went to business school. I see. Interesting. So, what did you study in business school?
account,
Accounting. Oh wow,
accounting,
interesting. So,
that,
okay. Okay, another point of connection. Accounting, studied accounting, and I'm a chartered accountant. Hmm, interested. Wow. So you did your first degree in business school, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I was there
did
for
you
two
did you do
years.
a okay? Did you do a postgraduate as well?
What?
Did you do a postgraduate program there as well?
What does that mean?
Okay, I was asking what you did in business school. You did accounting in business
Yeah,
school,
yeah, yeah.
right? Okay, so did you do any other thing after that,
No,
after
no,
that
no,
degree?
no,
Okay,
no.
okay.
Because even though I was in that business school, my mind was always focused on boxing.
Oh,
So
interesting.
after I finished it, so I was working in an office management there, but I
Mm.
didn't want to go there because I was like, man, sitting here is just
Oh, it can be one of the most boring things in the world, sitting in one office from
yeah,
morning till night.
from 8 to 5.
I'm telling you, it's probably one of the most miserable things. So you need to give credit to those of us who have been able to manage that kind of routine for many years.
I do, but my mind was always focused on boxing. My mind was in another place always. And
Mm,
even then, I felt every time I step into the gym, I always felt alive, because like in the office, you have to fight for your respect, even if you are black.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Like the manager will come here, we talk to you anyhow. The other
mm-hmm,
guy will talk to you anyhow.
mm-hmm.
And you cannot just fight there.
Office politics is a different kind of fight.
Yeah. Then yeah, you have to fight with your mind and with your mouth
Mm-hmm,
there.
mm-hmm.
So then I was planning a way to get out of there. Planning. So from there on, lifestyle for me, I was studying all the legends of boxers, how they became world champion, what they did to become world champion. So I stopped working in the office, then lifestyle. I started as a bouncer
Mm,
for weekend. That was a bouncer for weekend. Monday to Friday, I would just focus on my training. I would train every day, 2, 3 times a day, no distractions. Then Friday, Saturday night, I would go and work. Then I would try to make a living out of it. Sometimes I will even been um I will have a newspaper job in the night.
wow.
Yeah, I was just hustling everything to, to have my money right and to invest in myself.
Wow.
So that was like around 2016 when I first competed. I lost my first fight, my first amateur fight. I wanted to stop, but I had good friends that encouraged me to keep on going. And later the same year, I was national champion of Austria, 2016.
Mm,
At the end, it was like November or something like that. Then after that, boom, every year I was a national champion. 2017, 2018, I would just keep working hard. Then 2019 again, I had a break for 3 years. 20, yeah,
wow.
for 3 years after that because, I always try to see what the future holds. Because when I do something, I don't just think for now, I always think for the future. And it was like, yeah, now I'm fighting every year. I'm training hard, but I still get no money. Cannot live like that forever because
Yeah.
I'm overtrained, overworked, underpaid. So I have to do
Mm,
something. What's gonna happen next? So, and I've been looking in the history of boxing in Austria. There's not really a boxer that earned a lot of money. So I knew I had to get out of here.
mm,
I had to get out. So I started working at the construction because they did pay a lot. So I worked there like for 1 year, something like that. I was saving my money.
mm.
And then from there on, I was just traveling around Europe, going from gym to gym, sparring the best guys and
Oh,
telling them,
wow.
hey, I want to get out from Austria. So please help me. I'm ready. I'm ready to get out there. I want to spar your best guys. I'm ready to fight. So I did. Sometimes I've been knocking the best guys out. I have a lot of
Wow.
videos to it. But the problem is the people were just promising. And then when I get back to Austria, they will not pick up their phone again. They
Normal level.
really.
What's it feel?
That was
Talk is cheap.
frustrated. Yeah, that's right. Whereas I was frustrated. Then one guy called me I used to live in Graz before. That
Okay.
is 2 hours away from Linz. There's one guy, he called me, he was from Linz. He just wrote me on Instagram, just like that, reached out to me and asked me, hey, what's up? You still boxing? What you doing now? And I was like, yeah, I'm still training, but I'm not competing, and I'm trying to look for something new now. Then he was like, he offered me a job as fitness boxing instructor. And he said, then I told him I'm only coming if there's a gym for me there to train so I can pursue my boxing career. He said, yes, there is, blah, blah, blah. Then like 4 or 5 months later, some months later, I moved from that to Linz, that's 2 hours away. Then I had a job where now have my own company now, my own little business company as
Oh,
fitness boxing
that's
instructor.
impressive. That's
Yeah.
impressive. Wow.
And started boxing again. I started competing again. Still won the national championship in the same year I started. After a year, I think it was 1 year later. I made my pro debut there in Leeds.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's really, really impressive. You had to weather that storm. You stayed resilient, even in the face of discouragement. And that is something younger individuals have to take away from your story. Even when things, do not look bright, do not look encouraging. If you have a goal, right? Stick to it. Do everything you can. Don't get discouraged because the road is never easy. It's never easy to accomplish what you set out to accomplish. There are a lot of people who set out to accomplish something, but they at the slightest wind of difficulty, they say, maybe I can do something else. And you end up trying 100 different things.
Yeah,
I
because
become a jack
but
a jack of all trades and a master of none,
yeah,
right? But we need to fortify our minds. And thank you very much for sharing, your story, the pains behind the gain. People see you today, but they see that guy who has his professional boxing career, you know, on a good trajectory, a promising potential in boxing, but they don't realize what you had to go through to get here today. So you competing at, such a high level, what has been the most challenging fight of your career so far? And what would you say you learned from that fight?
I had like um 41 amateur fights,
Mm.
never been knocked down, never been wobbled, nothing. And I think in my 39th fight or something like that, I was not humble. I was like, yeah,
Mm.
come on, yeah. Nothing can happen to me. I already have so many fights. Nobody ever stopped me. In that moment when I was thinking, boom, I was laying on the ground.
Whoa.
I was on the ground, but I stood back up. I was like, fuck, man, focus, focus. And then I went on pounding that guy again. It was a really, really tight fight. I lost by decision, but some say that I won, but no problem. It was the close fight, very, very close fight. But I know I never have excuses. It was a good fight, and I learned no matter how many fights you had, you always have to stay humble. Even if you
Yeah.
win 100 fights, next
Yeah.
fight, different.
Yeah, that's the thing with martial arts, right?
Yeah.
Boxing is called on the 10-point must system, so it's difficult coming back from a knockdown in a round because that's going to be a 10-8 round.
Yeah, but thinking after I got knocked down, I woke up. So
Mhm.
like 1 minute later, I knocked him down.
Oh,
You know,
that'll be a 9-9
yeah.
then. Yeah, that'll be a 9-9. Wow,
But
well, that
so
fight must have been very close. I like
yeah,
to I
it
like
was
to watch
very
it.
close.
Yeah, I have a very, very big beef with boxing. Very big beef. That's why I am an MMA guy. I always say it, put it out there. Boxing, you guys need to get your act in order, get your academics right, and give people what they deserve to watch. I don't like the level of corruption that exists in boxing, especially with the scoring, right? I am watching something, right? There's something called the eye test. I can see, you can see, every single individual can see, but why do the judges pour very insane cards? I don't understand. I just don't really understand. Doesn't make any sense to me.
That they're
And
getting money from,
it's not a good image for the sport.
yeah, but just money talks, you know.
So it's not a good image for the sport.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, we understand that money talks, right? Money talks, bullshit works. But you need to do the right thing. And what is actually painful is that a lot of those coins are actually very ridiculous, extremely ridiculous.
But I think the reason why they don't care, because every individual thinks for himself. Like, let's say there are three judges now. Yeah, that is how it works mostly of the time. Somebody will go to one judge. You will tell him, maybe you just bring back, this is my father, you know what to do. But per se, doesn't care about anything again. Because he already got what he wants, you know. I think that's the reason why bullshit like that happens a lot.
That's crazy.
And some people are scared because if they don't do it, something will happen to them. And it happens
Oh,
everywhere. Yeah, it happens everywhere. So, you know, and like I said, some people are scared, and people that like to oppress people like that know who they can do it to or who not to. That's a big difference. Yeah, yeah.
what the hell is this now? What the hell is this? Talk. I'm going to have a serious beef with these guys. It's not going to be funny at all.